I've seen Bitcoin go down 50%, 50, in one day. In 6 hours. I've seen Bitcoin drop in half. So when it goes from 120 to 105, that's normal for me, okay? But it's not for everybody, and I get that. And so what I've said to you guys is that don't think of it as a weakness. I know that there was a moment where gold's going up and Bitcoin's going down and everyone's freaking out. Peter Schiff is dunking on us and all this stuff. And my message was, relax, Bitcoin's working. If Bitcoin closes at 115, 116 this month, it'll be the highest monthly close ever. Ever. I know it's not all-time high, but we didn't close at all-time high. The market's pricing in 3 Fed cuts before the year is over. It's about to be Halloween.
According to Mallers, Bitcoin isn't just a speculative asset, it's the best reflection of the truth. Why? Because Bitcoin can't be faked. It can't be printed. It can't be manipulated by central banks or governments. It's the purest expression of currency debasement, a real-time barometer of the world's faith in fiat money. Mallers says Bitcoin can change the world because the world cannot change Bitcoin. That's a profound statement. It means Bitcoin operates outside the lies, beyond the noise of fake news, fake narratives, fake collateral, and fake monetary policy.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
The United States is used to being able to print their way out. The United States in this post-$71, we talk about it a lot on this show. The United States has hollowed out its manufacturing base. We don't produce things anymore. We've really delegated that primarily to China. We've taken on the role of producing the world reserve currency, which no longer has ties to the physical world. It's no longer governed by Mother Nature. We segregated that in 1971. We now just print these pieces of paper. The problem is, though, that's not sustainable, okay? And the US government, what we can't print jobs, we can't print surpluses, we can't print CPI data, we can't fake these things. And so we're having to mark our reality to market. That's why I call it the Great Repricing. Is the dollar gonna go away anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not. I'm not saying that it's not going to be the world reserve currency next year. What I'm saying is this entire macroeconomic situation has to get repriced. The post-$71, in my humble opinion, is dead. The beginning is ending. In the next chapter, the end is just beginning. Okay? And so it's going to get repriced in what? To me, it's going to get repriced most violently in Bitcoin, in the best expression of currency debasement, in the best reflection of all the problems we have today. Bitcoin can change the world because the world cannot change Bitcoin. And so I think all of the things going on today are going to be best expressed through Bitcoin, best repriced through Bitcoin. Guys, how many times do we have to see the same story over and over and over again? Same thing with Liberation Day or week or whatever. It's like, and some of the comments you guys give me is, dude, you got to freshen it up, man. It's the same episode every week. I'm sorry, I'll take that feedback as warranted, but it's the same garbage from them every week. Fake news, fake narratives, fake garbage, fake money, fake collateral backing the money. As Bitcoiners, we will not buy it. We will not stand for it. We will think for ourselves. That's why you listen to this show, so you can get some unbiased truth. I'm not selling you any ads. I'm not selling you any bullshit. It took them a week before they said, hey, everyone calm down. We made peace with China. I've been in Bitcoin a long time. I've seen Bitcoin go down 50%, 50, in one day. In 6 hours. I've seen Bitcoin drop in half. So when it goes from 120 to 105, that's normal for me, okay? But it's not for everybody. And I get that. I relate to that. There's empathy there, okay? And so what I've said to you guys is that don't think of it as a weakness. I know that there was a moment where gold's going up and Bitcoin's going down and everyone's freaking out. And Peter Schiff is dunking on us and all this stuff. And my message was, relax. Bitcoin's working. Why is it working? What are you talking about, Jack? It's going down. It's not working. No, it is working. Because what we want Bitcoin to be is the best reflection of the truth. We want Bitcoin to be the best expression of the world, of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, I want Bitcoin to be the best expression of currency debasement, the best expression of the times, the best expression of fiat liquidity plus technology. Because if it is, it's going to be the best invention of our lifetimes. It's going to be the money for all. It's going to collateralize the global financial system. If it's not, something else is. And so the cost of that, guys, is volatility. You know the saying, volatility is a reward, a gift to the faithful. The cost of being the truth is volatility because the world's volatile. There's a lot going on. These superpowers are clashing. And so when Bitcoin goes down like that, I know it sucks, but it's working. And so as soon as these two world powers, and Bessett gets on TV and says, we're good, we're all good, everyone relax, Bitcoin goes right back up. And we're right back. Look, my next slide, guys, if Bitcoin closes at 115, 116 this month, it'll be the highest monthly close ever. Ever. I know it's not all-time high, but we didn't close at all-time high. Do you understand? Like this. Through the nose, out through the mouth. It's stay humble. It's stack sats. It's lower time preferences. You own the best reflection of currency debasement. You own a truth machine. So as the world fights and figures itself out, Bitcoin's going to travel with it. But that's a good thing. Because on the other side of all of this, Bitcoin's going way higher than anything else like it always has. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. And I told you guys, the US is bluffing, China's bluffing. Trump has been very clear, November 1st, November 1st, November 1st, November 1st. What do you guys think is going to happen between now and November 1st? It's going to be a game of tug of war. It's going to be a game of bullshit. It's going to be a game of nonsense. Can't print productivity, you're going to print narratives. These guys are in the business of printing nonsense, printing currency paper and printing narratives. And the coolest part is for the first time ever, we have a choice, you and I, the people. Satoshi gave us a choice. We're at the bargaining table. We get to act. Appreciate how cool that is. We have a life raft. We have a monetary network. We have a monetary policy. And so when I go to bed every night, when I wake up in the morning, the question is super simple. What do I want the future to be? Do I want the future to be gold? Sure, is gold better than US Treasuries? Unquestionably. There's no doubt about that. Do I want the future to be based on gold? No. Gold already failed us. Gold doesn't have a monetary network. Gold's monetary networks is us humans. So gold needs to be concentrated with a government, with a company, with a bank, with a central bank in order to achieve transaction finality globally in a society that's run digitally. Gold has failed us, and I have no reason. We can't make gold better. We found gold, and it is what it is. So the fact that gold can't get better gives me no reason to believe that it won't fail us again. When I look at our options and the fact that I now have a choice, I choose Bitcoin, but appreciate the moment and value the fact that you have an option. So many people out there think, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm not the president. I'm just an accountant. I'm just a social worker. I'm just a teacher. I'm going to go to work, watch my reality TV, eat my sugar candies, and go to bed. Those people deserve everything that comes with the future for those that decide for them. They deserve it. You all listening to this deserve everything that comes with taking control of your own future, of your own private keys. The other thing Tyler said, guys, Bitcoin 24/7 market, globally accessible, extremely liquid, top 5, top 10 asset in the world. It's a truth machine. It sniffs out when there's trouble. It smells danger. It also reacts the oppositely, okay? So when you see it running around, you see it jumping up and down, breathe, lower your time preference. It's working. It's working.
Mallers makes it clear we are living through a historical inflection point. For the first time, humanity has a choice, he says. For the first time ever, we're at the bargaining table. Satoshi gave us a choice. We can stay in the fiat world, a world of printed money, fake narratives, and government dependence, or we can choose Bitcoin, a world of self-sovereignty, digital scarcity, and truth. Mallers admits gold is better than treasuries, but it's not the future. Gold has already failed once. It's analog, it's slow, it's centralized, and it doesn't integrate with the modern financial rails. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is programmable money with built-in finality and global accessibility.
If Bitcoin closes like around where it is today, highest monthly close ever, the 4-year cycle to me, like, done. It's over. Like, I'm just thinking first principles. I'm thinking rationally. There's so much liquidity that has to come. They think there's going to be, the market's pricing in 3 Fed cuts before the year is over. It's about to be Halloween. The amount of money that has to be printed. These guys are talking about wartime financing to reindustrialize the United States of America. They're talking about basically combining the Fed with the Treasury. We're talking about fiscal dominance. And I'm supposed to be bearish on Bitcoin because of a 4-year theory? What? I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me super cycle. Maybe I'll regret it. Doubt it. Everyone needs dollars. So the question is, if everyone's in a constant need for dollars, where are they going to get them? The answer, the United States of America. So the United States of America runs what's called a twin deficit. We constantly are exporting more dollars than we're bringing in. It's a very fancy and complicated way of saying we run the country unprofitably. Okay, we print more dollars than we earn. So we constantly are growing our debt. What comes with being the world reserve currency, and we're going to talk a lot about this. You could call it the USD Dutch disease. You can call it the Triffin's dilemma. It's an illness. It's sickening, okay? Because if you want to be the world reserve currency over a sustained period of time, it is implied you have to run a deficit. It is implied you have to build up an immense amount of unpayable debt. Okay, these are non-negotiables. These are the physical realities of the world. If you do not export more dollars than you bring in, then you cannot be the world reserve currency because the world will run a shortage of the currency. Okay, this is why I'm very confident that the world needs to be run on a neutral money, a money that nobody issues, controls, and is responsible for distributing. Because it is a disease. It has plagued the United States and has gone too far.
Mallers turns to the near-term macro picture. He points out that the market is already pricing in 3 Federal Reserve rate cuts before the end of the year, and policymakers are discussing wartime financing, essentially merging the Fed and Treasury to fund massive industrial and military projects. That's fiscal dominance when governments seize control of money creation to fund deficits directly. And that, says Mallers, is wildly bullish for Bitcoin. When the Fed prints to fund deficits, inflation returns. When inflation returns, trust erodes. And when trust erodes, people seek truth.